Doctor Strange marks the 14th release in Marvel's cinematic universe. First mentioned by Agent Sitwell in The Winter Soldier, Stephen finally appears on screen in all his arrogant glory. So is it any good? I'm just going to cut to the chase here. Yes, it's really good. Go and see it. I'm not a huge fan of Slumbersnatch, but he plays Strange to a T. In many ways, he's perfect, having played such strong, intelligent characters as Sherlock, Alan Turing, and John Harrison. I mean, God! Strange is a brilliant surgeon, and boy does he know it. In Strange's world, it goes Stephen, God, and then maybe everybody else. That is until he wrecks his car and those oh-so-wonderful hands, and is forced into confronting his shortcomings as a person. It's a good character arc, somewhat similar to Tony Stark's in the first Iron Man, although here it's played more straight, and therefore has a bit more impact. The other actors all do their jobs well too, particularly Chiwetel Ejiofor as Mordo, whose own history and motivations are really only hinted at, but whose performance indicates so much more bubbling beneath the surface. In the past, much has been said about Marvel's villains and how they're essentially, well, shit, other than Loki. Mads Mikkelsen's Caecilius is not the new Loki. The performance isn't terrible, and we at least know why he's doing what he's doing. In one part of the movie, you may even be agreeing with him, but he's certainly not very memorable, and does fall into the "I'm a crazy person now" mold of previous MCU villains. He still seems to have that bleeding eye problem for Casino Royale too. I know a doctor who you could see, Mads. Visually, the film is wonderful. You can tell the filmmakers had a great time coming up with inventive ways to display magic and how it could be used to give an edge in combat by altering the environment. Marvel have really cornered the market in making the use of superpowers new and exciting. Are you watching, DC? Are you watching, DC? Are you watching, DC? Hands and time are constant visual motifs, and with good reason. The Doctor's hands are key to both of his lives as surgeon and sorcerer, and time? Well, time is at the centre of everything. Interestingly, Doctor Strange isn't the first comic book movie to have these recurring images of hands and time, as The Amazing Spider-Man 2 did the same back in 2014. How did that work out again? Oh yeah, terribly for everyone. For those not in the know, Doctor Strange was created by comic book legend Steve Ditko, and well, Ditko was a pretty strange dude himself. This was often evident in his layouts and the bizarre backgrounds he dreamt up, which, I'm happy to say, make it into the film in supreme fashion. Some bits, one involving hands in particular, are very weird and may even make you feel as though you are indeed tripping balls. On the whole, the film is great, but there are a couple of areas where it's perhaps not all it could have been. These nitpicks are just that though, and are heavily outweighed by greatness. So where does the film fall down? Although the performances are strong, some characters aren't utilised as much as they might have been. This is particularly true for Wong, who does get some really good scenes, but perhaps just not enough. Forced humour is often cited by Marvel detractors as something that is wrong with the studio's output. There is of course an argument for this, and it's true. Some of the jokes in Doctor Strange were either a little out of place or just didn't hit. Aside from a couple of lines that fall flat though, the humour is well used, with Mads and Wong probably providing the biggest laughs. Another area the film fell short for me was the magic. But Doopy, you just told us the magic is cool? Well, it is and it isn't. I was hoping for a bit more spell casting, throwing lightning bolts at motherfuckers, that kind of shit. But instead, people use magical weapons to essentially have physical fights. It's not a huge issue, and I'm sure it's a non-issue for some, but it's a bit more hand-to-hand than I was expecting. So, in conclusion, and as if by magic, we're back where we started. This film is really good, go and see it. Ranking this as an MCU movie, I'd say it's the best since The Winter Soldier, and though perhaps not quite as good as that film, Doctor Strange is definitely up there with the better entries of the MCU like Iron Man and the Avengers. My prescription? Make an appointment to see Doctor Strange as soon as possible. If you like this, be sure to subscribe and check out these other Doopy videos, including this one about characters who could possibly kill Doctor Strange. Thanks for watching!